Life.
Good morning, Docstar TV, and welcome to the Miracle of Mushrooms. I'm Oliver, coming to you live at night from Bangkok, Thailand, where we're going to explore everything that's amazing and powerful that awaits you inside Thunder Shrooms to help you unlock your maximum healing potential. So today I would like to talk about something that's a bit seasonal in nature. And maybe it's a festive time of year for many people around the world. We start to reflect, we start to think about things we've done in our life. And I would invite you not to wait just for a seasonal holiday to do that, but to reflect constantly and specifically to reflect about imbalance. Today's discussion, we're going to talk about balance and what it means for us as humans, what it means for our health, and what it means when we lack balance and instead we have an imbalance. So I invite you to think about some time in your life where you faced an imbalance of sorts. Maybe you were facing an imbalance between how much time you spent at your work and how much time you spent at home. And the balance wasn't right. And that had its own effects. I'm sure it had its own effects on your own health, I'm sure. But ask yourself, what else did it have an effect on? Did it cause an imbalance anywhere else? Did your working and free hours imbalance maybe cause some stress at home? Did you bring that stress into your home? And did that carry through to a new type of imbalance? Maybe a very harmonious relationship at home suddenly becomes stressed because of the imbalance caused by the work and free time balance. So, with that time out of sync, the effects of that imbalance come home to us. And maybe we see a new type of imbalance emerging at home. Maybe we see an imbalance in the relationship between someone we love at home. Maybe we go from a balance of tough love and sweet love to maybe just the tough love, or the imbalance gets greater and greater. And so, in all of these cases, especially in the case of a loving relationship at home with a family member, which breaks down due to an imbalance, that breakdown doesn't happen right away. It happens over time. It happens with microaggressions or with miscommunications or with something that's said not meant in a certain way and is understood in a different way. And that correction is never made. The wrong message is picked up, it's received, and it has an imprint. And that miscommunication, what was a mistake, has a permanent effect. And that becomes the truth. So we can see these imbalances, they accumulate. Each time we have an imbalance, the leftover, if you divide 7 into 90, you have something left over. It's not a great amount, but it's a little bit. And over time, these imbalances that are not equal, that are not harmonious, they leave something behind. And these things that are left behind from the imbalance, they add up. And who we are on the outside and how we have our own imbalances in our relationships and our external life is simply a composite of who we are on the inside at the cellular level. So when we talk about a stressful period in our life that was filled with imbalance, there's no surprise to know that at that same time, when you felt it on the outside of your life, inside in your body, your cells were in a state of imbalance. And this imbalance, this is what we refer to as a disharmony in the body. And this disharmony, even though by itself might not be so critical, the repeated presence of disharmony and imbalance leaves a lasting effect. It becomes accumulated, and we have leftover bits that weren't supposed to be left over. And in the case of the immune system, we have really, well, we're going to talk about the immune system in much more detail later. But for today, we just want to talk about balance. We want to talk about imbalance inside the immune system. Because this holiday season, it's coming to the cold part of the year for many of you where you live. And that imbalance is something, sorry, the imbalance in our immune system is something that can dictate how well how well we thrive during the holiday season or how much we suffer. And that imbalance in the immune system, that can dictate or that can determine how quickly do we experience aging? How quickly do we accumulate wear and tear on our organs to the point that they start to break down, and the liver breaks down and goes from a healthy liver to fibrosis, then to cirrhosis? Or how do we have a healthy stomach that's constantly degraded over time and becomes acidic, overly acidic, and produces, its natural reaction is to overly produce acidic byproducts. So these changes didn't happen over time. They came from imbalance, and didn't happen at one time, excuse me. They happened over time from these imbalances that happen within our immune system. And because our body is so complex, it's always in a state of motion at the cellular level. There's always something going on. There's always a rebalancing act underway somewhere in our body to bring us back to this harmonious balance. And I like to show what I like to use as a model for my own immune system, which is what I like to go for. I call it the golden balance. And it's a good way to visualize our different immune components. Now, we talked about a simplified understanding of the immune system, where we have two sides, the pro-inflammatory side and the anti-inflammatory side. So our immune system can help us by doing a pro-inflammatory response or an anti-inflammatory response. What happens if we load up on one side? We become unbalanced, right? If body goes through a state of rebalancing, we can bring it back to a nice, healthy, balanced state. What happens if we can't bring it back? And this is what we're left with, is a huge imbalance. Well, like all imbalances, they cannot be sustained. This will not be sustained in a strong wind, such as balanced state. And in the same way, our immune system in an imbalanced state, it cannot be sustained. And our body wants to return it to a natural state of harmony and balance. The only problem is we get in the way we live our lives, the things we put in as food that we think are food, the things that we take in our environment just from being around many, car pollution or different types of environmental pollutants. All these things we take in, they disrupt this balance, which means that we cannot take off these ones that were too much, that caused the imbalance. The body can't do it. The immune system, it has this burden and it cannot take it off. For whatever reason, whatever else is going on in the body, it's unable to rebalance its immune imbalance. So what do we do? Well, we can try and stop causing the things that create the imbalance first. And the most important thing we can do to fix the issue is to use nature's most powerful immunomodulating gift, which is thundershrooms. Now, immunomodulating is a fancy word which just means it changes the immune system. So when we're talking about an immune system that's imbalanced, right, we want to modulate that or change it to a state of balance. And thundershrooms, Phalinus mushroom, is an immunomodulatory agent, which is that it is found in nature and it has a special interaction with the immune system in a way that it promotes and sends the signal to rebalance the immune system. Most of the specific issues we see to do with metabolic disorder, lifestyle disease, and premature aging are due to an imbalance between these immune groups. So when we use thundershrooms to fix the signal, to tell the dominant group to stop being so dominant, then the balance can be achieved. In the same way, when we have an imbalance with a relationship at home, how can we fix that? What helps is when we have an ally, we have a friend who comes from the outside with another perspective and says, okay, you over there, you stand over there. What's your message? Understand. And then this friend can bring the message, make sure it's understood correctly to the other party, and the communication can improve. And with this help of this friend, or in the case of our immune system, this immunomodulator, the thundershrooms, this is how we can improve the communication between the two groups, the T1 and the T2 immune groups that were previously in imbalance. This is how we can improve the balance, by improving communication with the help of a third-party modulator. And in the case of a disagreement between family members, the third party can help both sides to see what the clear picture is and to do the right thing in a way that doesn't antagonize the other one so much. In exactly the same way, thunder shrooms naturally has been blessed with these active compounds inside it, which interact specifically with human immunity to give us that same modulation. It's the peacemaker effect. It brings the olive branch from one group to the other. Well, not the olive branch. It strengthens the one that's down and cools down the one that's up. And together, both are more in balance. Now, it's important to remember that even though I have this model, which kind of looks like it's static, well, it's not. It's always in motion. And it's very important to remember that our immune system and any immune imbalance that we face is constantly in motion, which means that nothing is final, which means that you can always do something more tomorrow, today, to fix that balance, which means that the imbalance you would suffer tomorrow by not doing anything can be made less by doing something. So I believe there's a Thanksgiving sale now, DOD doing the Black Thursday, Black Friday sale. And it's a very good time where if you find yourself struggling with imbalance, what can you do to make things better? Well, I tell you, there is something you can do, and you can do it right now. You don't have to wait, and you don't have to accept a state of disharmony as the final. That's nothing is final in biology, and nothing is final until it's final. So in that regard, every moment that we are awake, that our cells are going back and forth between an imbalanced and balanced state, every moment is a moment we can do something about it to improve our state of balance for tomorrow. So I invite you all to ask yourselves about periods of balance and what it is you can help to do, so what you can do to help yourself achieve a more harmonious state of balance. So that is for today. I would like to also answer a few questions from last week, which was, I had a few great questions, and I think this is going to lead into an episode specifically on the mushroom itself, because many of you asked about how does a mushroom look like? Does it look like magic mushrooms in New Zealand? And well, first of all, I just want to be very clear that no, these are completely unrelated with those types of mushrooms and with the psychedelic mushrooms. It would be the same as saying that a bird and a shark are related because they're both animals. So in that sense, be very clear that in traditional medicine, medicinal mushrooms are not psychoactive mushrooms. They are very clearly different in the same way that a bird and a shark would be different in the animal kingdom. So in that sense, they absolutely do not look like magic mushrooms. We call the effect of them magical or miraculous because of the benefit they have for the immune system. But physically, they do not look or resemble or have any similar properties as psilocybin. Another question we had was mycelium can produce, yes, there's a question about mycelium of the mushroom, investigating its environment. And I will go into this on the next episode to show you exactly what does a mycelium look like and what does a mushroom fruiting body look like. And this is going to be very key to understanding what is so special about thunder shrooms, because we know more about medicinal mushrooms. We know they're a friend to humans, but why this exact mushroom and why this exact formulation? Why this preparation? Why did the scientists, with all their wisdom, settle on this conclusive mushroom as our best immunomodulator? Well, we're going to discuss that more when we go through the biology of the mushroom in coming episodes. So I look forward to hosting you again next Tuesday, 11 a.m., where we will learn more about everything that's amazing and powerful inside thunder shrooms to help you unlock your maximum healing potential. Great. Have a great day and see you soon. Bye-bye.